Brian Holland and I will take the next little bit of time to tell you about one, I think, of the most exciting things to come OMAG's way in a very long time. I asked Brian to help me with his introduction. Since I'm Bill Tackett, Director of Risk Management Services, I thought mine was fairly succinct. Brian gave me a really detailed introduction. Let me read it to you. Brian Holland, our Director of Finance and Administration, has been with OMAG since 2012.
Thanks, Bill.
I didn't think that was a great introduction, but anyway. David Marquet yesterday told us about taking the very worst fleet in the ship in the fleet, the Santa Fe, and turning it around, turning it from the worst, not only to the best in the fleet, the best that had ever been recorded in the whole naval history. Now maybe you guys are in a situation where your town is experiencing a round of bad claims. Or maybe you've got a team that everybody's pulling on the rope in the same direction. Regardless, OMAG has two brand new programs that we're going to announce this morning. And first of all, I'd like to, oh, there you are right there. I should have pushed that button already. Since 2012, Brian Holland. We want to thank our Board of Trustees. These folks come from our member cities and towns. They represent you all very ably. They know what you do because they're doing it every day, and it helps strengthen our municipal culture. We also want to thank John for green-lighting these to take them to the board, these very important recognition and retention programs. As far as I know, OMAG is the only public entity pool in the nation to offer a retention and a recognition program. And so you have those folders in front of you. And now, without further ado, Brian Holland.
Thanks, Bill. We do have Ann Gergen in the office in the building from A Group, and if that's not right about being the only program, just keep that to yourself for now. These two programs have been developed to work together and complement each other. We think they're kind of like a wedding and a marriage. Wedding is an event, marriage is a process. Or peas and carrots, if you like movies. We think they go together like those. So we celebrate a lot of times events like this 40th anniversary, and getting here over 40 years has been a process. There was a lot of process to planning the event and pulling it all off. You've been given a lot of information over the last couple days. The information we have for you comes with money. So we think our information is at least as good as some that you've gotten so far. If this process is successful, hopefully in the fall of 2020 with the new retention program, we're going to be celebrating an event with you when we give you a check. Some of the details on how you're going to get a check are up on the screen and in the packet. The retention's the blue handout on the right side, and it's pretty easy, we think. It's have good claims experience, either no claims or low claims. There are no forms to sign, no application to fill out. So how do you get started? July 1st is a week from Saturday, and if you're in the MLPP program, if you're in our liability program currently, you're already enrolled. You're already signed up. If you're not in the MLPP program, and I don't see Larry Stevens or the City of Edmond, but if you're not, you can see Dory or Doreen, and they'll get you a quote, and we'll get you in the MLPP program, right, Dory? Bill, how soon can we get some cash?
Well, according to the screen,
September 2020.
that's a long time, Brian.
Yeah, that is a long time.
It's a long time from now.
Yeah.
How much money can you get, though?
Well, if you look in your packet, on the right side, there's a sticker that says, based on your current premiums, what we think we'd be talking about giving you back if you didn't have any claims. So it might be anywhere from a couple $100 to $40,000 or $50,000 that you're looking at.
Up to 20% of your annual premium?
Yeah, it's in the folder that everybody's got. They've been reading while I've been talking.
Oh, all right.
There is some math to do on it. What we're going to do is compare 20% of your premium with your losses. 3 years from now, and if you have had losses less than 20% of your premium, we're going to give you back the difference. You don't have to do any of the math. We could send you some reports along the way about how you're doing, and we can help you out with that. There's a phrase that we believe is true, and maybe you've heard it. We think that what gets measured gets done, what gets measured with feedback gets improved, and what gets measured and rewarded gets repeated. So if we can reward you with some of your premium dollars back for having good claims experience, we hope you'll do that every year, and we can bring you a check every fall, starting in 2020.
Brian, I appreciate the recognition and the retention program. I think they go together.
Thank you.
Like peas and carrots is what you said. The retention part of the program is the event. It's when you get the check. And now, is that a check or is that a credit on your premium?
We're going to write you a check.
Write you a check?
Yep.
U.S. denominated bills.
Yep, U.S. dollars.
You can use for any lawful purpose.
Any lawful purpose.
Wow. Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay. So in September 2020, whatever's left of your loss fund, you'll get that in the form of a check. And you guys can do with that money whatever the state of Oklahoma will let you do with money. So if the Kiwanis want you to match a playground equipment grant, or the police want some more money, or City Hall needs a new computer, they can spend it on anything they can spend it on, right?
Does police ever want extra money?
Sometimes police want extra money, that's true. That's the event part of the process. That's the retention part. I want to talk to you for a minute about the recognition part. This is also a brand new program that we think will greatly add to and aid the retention program. We think the recognition part fits really well. Let's put it in terms that they understand down in Lower Lincoln County, Harold. First you plant, first you plow, then you plant, then you water, then you weed, and then you wait. It's a process. And then eventually you harvest. In this case, it's a cash crop. That's what you get.
It's one of the best kinds.
Yeah, it's a money crop. So what is the part of the process? The part of the process is to help the elected officials, the governing board members, become more acquainted with what their roles and responsibilities are, how to run a municipal corporation, how to be good municipal directors, how to make policies and laws and procedures and allocate resources that make the best sense, to give them the tools and the training they need to do their job. City managers train a lot. Police chiefs train a lot. Clerks and treasurers go to conferences and train a lot. But your elected people are volunteers. They're people that have the heart to serve in the community. And the training they get needs to be strengthened, we think, and needs to be rewarded. You can earn a monetary reward through the recognition program every year, and that's on the green side of your red folder, which is a smaller number probably than the other side, but you can earn it every year.
Bill?
What?
Do you have to wait 3 years to get this money like Brian's program?
No, nobody wants to wait 3 years to start recognition, Brian. They're going to start that right away. And now I have an idea, I have a thought, and this is just kind of my own. I got this off the website. It's the city of Berkeley, California. Those people are crazy, but ignore that for right now. This is a typical municipal organization chart. Up at the top, you've got the citizens of the town. Then you have the elected officials. Then you have the appointed officials. Then you have the folks that are working there. My thesis is that this is upside down. This is exactly 180 degrees out of kilter. I think it should look like this, because I think the citizens are the foundation of your community. If we are going to talk about plowing and planting and watering and weeding and waiting, that's the soil in which your community is going to grow. And out of those folks come your leaders, your mayor, your council people. If you have an elected police chief or elected treasurer, that's where those people come from. And out of your elected officials, that's your foundation, that city managers and the people in your police department, your library, all the different services that you offer, that's the foundation they operate off of. Let's turn it upside down and let's treat the foundation like it needs to be. Let's make a strong foundation for a great city. There's 4 simple things that an elected body has to do in order to achieve recognition. Each governing member must receive OMAG prescribed training, either in person or by distance learning, during the current fiscal year. The governing body either must adopt, or if they already have one, review, and if needed, update a handbook. You know, if you're an employee and you go to work for any kind of a business that's worth its salt, they give you an employee handbook. But when you get elected, most city councils don't have a council handbook. Now, Sand Springs does. And David Weatherford is in the house. David Weatherford, stand up, David Weatherford, and wave your arm in the air like you don't care. David Weatherford is a strong, great continuing partner with OMAG, and the handbook that we have available is David's work. So if you don't have a council handbook, it's a great tool to orientation for new board members. Alva, you guys got a handbook, didn't you, after David came? Yep. Did it help?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. You have a handbook for your council people. They're volunteers coming out of the community, right? It helps them understand what their job is. If you already have it, annually you need to review it. If it needs to be updated, you update it. The next thing you do is you complete the stability test. Stability test was created by David Weatherford. It's 10 questions. If you've had David Weatherford training in your area or in your town, you've taken the stability test. You take the stability test annually. It covers, in 10 questions, the ground that you need to cover as an elected official. And finally, because we provide insurance, we want you to look at your declaration page and your explanation of coverage page once a year. Once a year. Now, how do you tell us that you do this? There's no forms to sign, there's no application to fill out. You simply decide that you're going to have your governing body do those 4 simple things and receive recognition. Get trained, adopt or review and update a handbook, take the stability test, and look at your deck page and your explanation of coverage page during the current fiscal year. Now, how do you do that and let us know about it? You adopt, as a governing body, a sample resolution. Matthew Love is not in the room. Matthew Love made us a sample resolution that you adopt, and you send us certified minutes from the meeting during which you took that action. That's all you do. And in exchange for that, you get a check. It's on the side of your brochure that has the green folder. And you can do that annually every year. Annually every year. Because we think training for governing body people is important. Let's give them the tools they need to do the job that the people have elected them to do. And a lot of those dollars are very significant. It's 10 to 20% of your annual liability premium. We do cap it at $10,000. So if your liability premium's big enough, Ponca City, you'll get $10,000 a year. If your liability premium's lower, you'll get a lesser check. But every year, the governing body can earn up to $10,000 they can spend for any lawful purpose. Now, a lot of times, what governing body people do seems to be detached from how the services are carried out. This is an opportunity for the governing body to get the tools and the training they need and get a monetary reward for it. Because I think what Brian said earlier is true. I think what gets measured gets done. I think what gets measured with feedback gets improved. I think what gets measured and rewarded gets repeated. We're looking to repeat the things that need to be repeated to make our cities and towns stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very excited about this, and Kevin Seesock, our IT director, told me just before we came up here that the web pages that contain the recognition and the retention information, everything we just talked about, including a list of frequently asked questions, is live at omag.org. So if you have any questions at all, you can go to our web page.
What if I don't like using the interweb?
What?
What if I don't like using the interwebs?
Well, you could call us.
Call us.
You could call us, but Kevin doesn't want you to call. He wants you to go to the website. Okay. They did a lot of work on that.
That's true.
All right, you could call. But you can go to the website and get all of your questions answered as well. We really appreciate all of our members, all the opportunities that you guys provide for us to have these new programs. We're grateful for our trustees and for John for greenlighting these two really, really innovative programs.